if you JK, you got to make the best decision for you. You got to try to put yourself in the best position that you can possibly put yourself in. And so I wouldn't get caught up into, man, he said this, my next interview, whenever that may be, I need to respond. Quite frankly, I don't think JK should have a next interview in this position. Where JK has to be careful is Steve Kerr is the legend. Steve Kerr is one of the greatest coaches we've seen. JK can only lose here. Like, he can say something back. It could be the wrong thing, but he can only lose here. He has nothing to gain from trying to say something back, trying to respond to that, and he can only lose and hurt himself.
Draymond Green talks about Jonathan Kuminga's future with the Warriors and beefing with Steve Kerr. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
And also, speaking of Steve comments, I know there's a big fuss about his statement on Jonathan Kuminga yesterday. And for our fans out there that haven't seen the statement, I'll give you some context. I think he was on with Tim Kawakami, and they were talking about JK, and Steve's answer was, it's a tricky one because Jonathan obviously is gifted and wants to play a bigger role and wants to play more. And for me, I've been asked to win. And right now, he's not a guy who I can say I'm going to play 38 minutes with the roster that we have, Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, and put the puzzle together that way and expect to win.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Steve Kerr is low-key sabotaging JK's career. Now, he had a little injuries here and there, and he made some mistakes, but he had a good run last season. And then this season, when he played versus the Timberwolves in the playoffs, he put up a lot of good points. So while Jimmy Butler wasn't that superstar player that you traded for, you're giving him $60+ million just to be a below-average playoff player. You might as well split the minutes between Kuminga and Jimmy, and I believe that the Warriors could have gave a better fight to the Timberwolves. So I know Draymond, he's team Warriors, he's team Steve Kerr. He's not going to go above and beyond to defend Jonathan Kuminga. He wants to, but at the same time, he knows how Steve Kerr is. He's won a lot of championships, so he's standing on business, and I get it. But I think you got to play Jonathan Kuminga 35 to 40 minutes per night. Don't know if it's going to happen next season because it looks like he's going to be out the door. But they messed up on the opportunity to have a young superstar type of player for years to come. He needs more minutes. He needs to be in the rotation. He has to be a starter. You got to trust him. You can put Jonathan Kuminga at the power forward, and I think he can hold his own in this era of basketball. So, and with Steve Kerr, after the Jason Tatum Team USA situation, him being benched, it hasn't looked good for Steve Kerr. He's going to be out the door with the Warriors in the very near future. Remember what I said.
And so I think, when I look at that statement, I think I take a couple of things away from that statement. One being, he said, with this roster that we have, I'm not sure. He didn't say that Jonathan Kuminga can't play 38 minutes anywhere and be a successful player and be an impactful player and possibly reach his promise. That's not what he said. He said, with this roster, I don't see how that piece fits. Now, do I agree with that? I don't know that I necessarily agree because...
Come on, be real, Draymond. It's okay. You're at the end of your career. You made your money, hundreds of millions. You're doing a lot of great things outside of basketball. It's okay to be critical. What they going to do, trade you? You know that's going to look bad for the organization if they trade you at this point, even though you punched Jordan Poole, even though you got Kevin Durant out the door. I don't think they're going to let go of Draymond Green. They would have did it before getting rid of Jordan Poole. So he wants to stand on business. He's going to try to, rock with Kuminga. But, Steve Kerr, one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, he's going to go with Steve Kerr. So it's obvious.
You just haven't seen it. And so I'm not of the mindset that something just doesn't work that you haven't had a chance to see much of. But also in saying that, I think when you look at Steve, one thing that he's shown as a coach is he going to make the decision that he thinks is best, regardless of what it comes with. We're talking about the same man, the same legend that didn't play Jason Tatum in the Olympics and dealt with all flack that came with that. But at the end, to his point, his ultimate goal is to win. And they won the gold medal. And that's what he set out to do. So here.
Yeah, I get it. Steve Kerr, 4 championships as a coach. Believe he won 5 as a player. So he's about almost 10 in the game. So I get it. Cool. Congrats, Steve Kerr. But as an experienced coach, as a championship player, you're going to make mistakes. the Jason Tatum thing, it worked out. Team USA won gold thanks to Steph Curry for saving Steve Kerr's Team USA legacy as a coach. I don't think he'll be back. He probably want to put Eric Spoelstra as the head coach of Team USA or Ty Lue. So it was one and done for Steve Kerr. But as far as him being the coach for the Warriors, mishandling Jonathan Kuminga, destroying his confidence, and now you're messing up his value on the market. He's looking to get anywhere between 150 and 200 million. That may be a little bit too much for him right now, only because he didn't get a lot of playing time, and his time with the Warriors didn't end good. So yeah, he had some playoff moments versus the Timberwolves, and hopefully that's enough for him to get his money. But Steve Kerr is sabotaging Jonathan Kuminga's career.
I understand what he's saying. I don't necessarily agree.
There you go.
Because we just haven't seen it and seen much of it. So to actually know if it does work. But if you JK, you got to make the best decision for you. You got to try to put yourself in the best position that you can possibly put yourself in. And so I wouldn't get caught up into Steve said this or Steve said that. I think if you're Jonathan Kuminga in this moment, Steve Kerr is Steve Kerr. He's a legend. He will be a Hall of Famer. These are just the facts. And so in saying that, I'm not sure it's worth getting caught up into the, man, he said this, my next interview, whenever that may be, I need to respond. Quite frankly, I don't think JK should have a next interview until after free agency because
yeah, I get it. You don't want to tuck yourself into a financial hole, but at the same time, I think he has to defend himself. So it's that, I don't know if he's a content creator on YouTube, if he has a YouTube channel, or if he has an outlet to get his voice off. Maybe not on the Draymond Green show, only because he's Team Steve Kerr. He's Team Warriors. So it may not be a good look going on the podcast with your teammates on, only because you know where his mind is at. He's pro Steve Kerr and he's rocking with him. And he's basically saying you pretty much got to leave town, do what's best for your career. Maybe the Brooklyn Nets, that's usually where a lot of good young talent goes. So that could be a home for Jonathan Kuminga. The Chicago Bulls, that's a possibility. He got some teams out there to where if he goes, he's going to get his points, he's going to get his minutes. But if he wants to be a winner and play on the winning team, he may have to take a discount. But at this point in his career, by third or fourth year in the league, not 23 yet, I think you want to get as much money as possible. So if you're Jonathan Kuminga, best of luck to you. But you should get your voice out there. But just be strategic about it. Know the right platform to go. Know the right person to interview with, because a lot of people, they may try to throw shots at you so you can kind of crash out. So just got to be strategic as far as getting your voice out there if you're Jonathan Kuminga. Or just play the silent game and just wait until July to where trades can officially happen.
For what? And I think in this position, where JK has to be careful is Steve Kerr is the legend. Steve Kerr is one of the greatest coaches we've seen. JK can only lose here. Like, he can say something back. It could be the wrong thing, but he can only lose here. He has nothing to gain from trying to say something back, trying to respond to that. And he can only lose and hurt himself here. So don't say nothing. Like, free agency is happening. You got to go into free agency, whether that's, he's a restricted free agent. You got to figure out what's going to work for you, and that's going to happen anyway. So I would just say, man, Steve going to believe what he believes, and his beliefs has worked. He won 4 championships. So I'm not going to sit here and argue or go back and forth about his beliefs, and I don't think JK should either.
Yeah, bro, just yapping now. I get it, yeah. Don't nobody say nothing about the OG Steve Kerr. He's won 4 championships, won multiple championships as a player. He knows what he's doing. But I don't care how great the coach is, they can be out of tune. They could be out of the mix. They can mishandle situations. So, yeah, a lot of people, they'll go back to the Jason Tatum situation. I'm going to separate it only because it's like an all-star game. How much minutes can someone possibly get? And it worked out for him on that end. But as far as being the Warriors coach, Steve Kerr's had some mishaps. He's mishandled situations, and this is the most recent situation with Jonathan Kuminga. So yeah, again, Draymond, he's pro Steve Kerr, he's pro the Warriors organization. They gave him plenty of chances after punching Jordan Poole, after calling KD names and getting him out the organization. I get it. They're rocking with Draymond Green, and he's going to stand on business for him. But if you're Jonathan Kuminga, again, hopefully you'll have a solid career after the Warriors situation ends, as long as he doesn't get injured, he's going to contribute to a good team or up-and-coming team. So I got hopes for Jonathan Kuminga. I'm glad he got some minutes in the playoffs versus the Timberwolves, multiple 20-plus point games. He showed that if you add him to the rotation, if he's a starter, he could put up some points, he can contribute. Plus minus was good. So shout out to Jonathan Kuminga. Hopefully he gets revenge on Steve Kerr.
But at the same time, if I'm JK and I'm in them shoes, I heard it. I need to move accordingly, figure out what's for me. But Steve, sit here and question him why. He got 4 championships. And I'll remind you, last time I said that to him, I said, wow, coach, we got 4 of them things. He said, I ain't got 4. I got 9. You got 4. So,
man, we should have traded you.
That man know how to win. And there's no point in sitting here trying to question what he knows. It's been proven that he knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win. I think JK is going to be a great player. Whether he show that with the Warriors or show that somewhere else, that's on him to figure that out and his team to figure that out. But what's been proven is Steve Kerr know how to win, and JK is an incredible talent. Those things are mutually exclusive. Both things can be true, and they cannot work together. And that happens in this league all the time. It is what it is.
Yeah, Dre is right. This happens all the time. Have a great talent and have a great coach. Things may not mesh, but I guarantee if Steve Kerr said something about LeBron James, he would crash out on Steve Kerr. He wouldn't care about being traded. He wouldn't care about the ownership group. He would crash out if Steve Kerr says some slick stuff about LeBron. But if it's with your teammate, Jonathan Kuminga, somebody you cool with but ain't rocking with like you do with LeBron, yeah, you know what? Just shut up, play ball, stay silent. Free agency's coming in July. You'll be able to make your moves, and best of luck to you. That's pretty much what he's saying about Jonathan Kuminga. Yeah, you cool. You're a good player. You should have a solid career. But Steve Kerr has 9 championships, and he knows what he's doing. So, again, man, shout out to Kuminga, and hopefully he'll get revenge on Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors.